Pues sí, amigos, ese susto del ya estamos de nuevo. That early here we go again scared only lasted until Vini pulled off one of the best trivela passes I've seen anywhere this season to set up the equalizer para establecer ese empate. Around the 22nd minute mark, that goal completely took the life out of the Greeks. It was like popping their balloon. Fue como pincharles el globo. They just deflated. Se deshincharon. Muy buenas a todos, gente buena, buena gente, football geeks, frikis de fútbol, football geeks, and welcome to a new episode of Inglés para Vikingos. So it was a pretty poor start of the game, guys. We conceded in the 8th minute, and the alarm bells went off, y las alarmas saltaron. And it makes sense because every game we put out a more makeshift backline, una defensa aún más improvisada, a more makeshift backline than the last. This time, guys, it looked like an Ikea furniture assembled without the manual. Totally held up with chewing gum and a lot of hope, y con mucha esperanza. But fortunately, in the end, it was all smoke. Not because we were steamroller, una apisonadora, steamroller, but because this big bad wolf, este lobo feroz, Olympiacos, turned up to be more of a poodle. Se convirtió más en un caniche. They melted like sugar in hot tea. But still credit where it's due, al César lo que es del César. Este equipo griego ha estado 39 partidos sin batido en su casa. There were 39 games unbeaten at home. And Real Madrid hadn't won in Greece in the last 10 tries. So these 3 points really matter. They keep us in 5th and close to finishing in the top 8. And that means that in the knockout stages, en las eliminatorias, knockout stages, all the second legs, todos los partidos de vuelta, all the second legs are at home until the semifinals. By the way, I know we've got tons of injuries at the back, but seeing Mendy in the lineup left me with that face that you can see on the screen. I'd honestly forgotten he ever existed. He's like a ghost, folks. Pops in, pops out, aparece, desaparece, then vanishes for months. Anyway, I'll spare the comments, me ahorro más comentarios, but hey, if his return means Vini is performing that way, then welcome back, mate. Then Lunin kept us alive with 2 big saves, and no chance on their first goal, which by the way looked like a PlayStation goal. Unbelievable if you still haven't watched it. Until the 22nd minute, I was honestly on edge. Estaba de los nervios, on edge. Even though deep down, aunque en el fondo, deep down, I knew we had enough quality to react. And then suddenly Guller switched on, se enchufó, played as a pure number 10, and put on a passing masterclass. He started to assist Kylian and Vini. He finally began to create chances, and he even missed a sitter, un gol cantado, a sitter, because he was too generous and tried to lay it off for Kylian, ponérsela a Kylian, to lay it off for Kylian. I don't know what you guys think, but sometimes he just needs to show a sharper edge, un colmillo más afilado, a sharper edge, and finish the move himself. I think this kid has goals in his boots. And then Vini started to play like Vini, top 3 winger in the world when he's motivated and they actually fit him, y le dan balones. And of course, my dear Vikingos, when you've got a beast in your team who can score a hat-trick in 7 minutes, things can flip real fast. Las cosas pueden dar la vuelta muy rápido. Things flip real fast. Let me tell you something, folks. At 1-0 down, I went to the kitchen to grab something for dinner, and then I came back to my room, and Kylian had already put 3 past them. Kylian ya les había cascado 3 goles. So what's the learning point here? Never underestimate, nunca subestimemos, never underestimate what it means to have 2 of the 5 best players in the world up front. Ahí, delante, up front. Camavinga was doing a great job, but had to come off with flu symptoms, con síntomas de gripe. Kid can't catch a break. A este chico siempre le pasa algo. He went from my favorite player to my biggest mystery as of today. Then Ceballos came on for Camavinga, and it instantly became a giveaway horror show. A festival of giveaway balls, bolas perdidas. Nunca ha sido mi preferido, la verdad. He's never been my cup of tea. Ceballos has been around for 8 seasons, and the truth is, I don't see much commitment, nor do I see him enjoying himself on the pitch. Juega como sin alma, chicos. It's all just flat. To me, he isn't the leader we need in midfield at all. Vini turned into Vini again, one of the 3 best in the world in his position when he's motivated, and we actually get him involved, y le hacemos que participe. Vinicius' trivela assist from today was nominated for Champions League Assist of the Day. It was absolutely phenomenal. Big Modric would have stamped his signature on that Vini trivela. And what about that back heel into Kylian's path? Ese taconazo que deja a Kylian en una posición inmejorable, leaving him clean through on goal. That says everything about how switched on he was. At just 25, Vini has already passed Lionel Messi in assists, with only 73 Champions League games played. In the end, facts put everyone in their place. Actions speak louder than words. Obras son amores y no buenas razones. And by the way, for all the people who keep trying to stir up nonsense, crear polémica, stir up nonsense between our two players, que si uno de los dos sobra, one of them is extra, que si no se llevan bien, that they don't get along, que si no se entienden, they don't understand each other. Madre mía, pues si se llegan a entender, sorry folks, but you're going to have to delete this match from your archive, de vuestro archivo, from your archive, or you'll end up looking pretty silly, o vais a quedar muy retratados, very exposed. Como socio abonado que asisto de forma habitual al Bernabéu, as a regular ticket holder at the Bernabéu, I've already seen quite a few performances like this from them this same season. And of course, guys, let's not skip past this. No podemos dejar escapar este hecho. Kylian scored a poker in the Champions League. Only Di Stefano, Puskas and Cristiano Ronaldo had done it before in our shirt. That says everything. Back to the game. After the break, we created 2 or 3 absolute sitters. Creamos 2 ocasiones clarísimas de gol. And didn't finish. Then, on their first counter, en su primer contraataque, on their first counter they had 2-3. Same old story. If you don't close the door, the cold comes in. We just can't kill games, and we suffer for it. From there, the match turned into pure chaos, en un caos total. End-to-end stuff, exactly the kind of game we hate. But again, another burst from Vini set up the 2-4. Otro reón de Vini propició el 2-4. And Jude came on for Arda to try to steady things, but it had the opposite effect. Because Güler was the only anchor we had. With him on the pitch, Vini and Kylian were finally connecting and enjoying themselves. Then we started dropping too deep again. Nos echamos muy atrás. And even 2 goals up, we still couldn't close the match. Why? Because our defensive structure has more holes than a fishing net. Más agujeros que una red de pescar. And as an example of this, their third goal. It says it all. A simple cross, Carreras doesn't follow the striker, a free header. Y un cabezazo totalmente libre de marca, a free header. That to me, vikingos, is not knowing the craft of a center back. Y eso es no saber el oficio de central. And that's on the coach, not the kid. Yes, it's a great header, but the guy was completely unmarked and unbothered. Sin oposición, unbothered. And that leads to the real problem, guys. We're awful at defending aerial balls and set pieces. Somos pésimos defendiendo balones aéreos y jugadas a balón parado. Aerial balls and set pieces. It's a huge liability. Es un gran lastre, a huge liability. If we don't fix this, I'm sorry, but we're not going far this season. It's an emergency, plain and simple. Y por fin ya estamos en la sección de pronunciación de hoy. Hoy he mencionado en el vídeo este par de frases. We created 2 or 3 absolute sitters. O esta otra. The scare only lasted a few minutes. Os preguntaréis por qué a veces los verbos regulares en inglés, ya sabéis, los que forman sus pasados añadiendo el sufijo ed, se pronuncian de forma diferente a veces. Pues muy sencillo, chicos, os lo explico. Created y lasted se pronuncian con ese sonido id porque terminan en t. Así que los verbos que acaban en T o en D, su pasado regular se pronunciará como ID. Para el resto de verbos los vamos a pronunciar como una T más fuerte o como una D más suave. Eso sí, los que terminan en vocal o Y, su pasado es como una D muy suavita. Para el resto podemos hacer el sonido sin miedo T. Los ejemplos más fáciles para recordar con T. Liked, passed, walked. Y con esa D suave los que acaban en Y o en vocal. Played, agreed, lied, died. And today's pick of the match has to be Kylian, without a doubt. Not just for his poker, guys, but for the absurd stat behind them. Since arriving at Real Madrid, he scored 66 goals in his first 77 official games. Y ese ya, chicos, es un territorio de CR7. Cristiano Ronaldo has 69 goals in his first 77 games. In other words, en otras palabras, what Kylian's doing is simply unbelievable. So, in a nutshell, vikingos, Ya sé que nuestra defensa ahora mismo es una enfermería, una sala del hospital, vamos. Our backline is a hospital ward with Militao, Rudiger, Carvajal, Huijsen, Asensio now, and winning an Olympiacos turf, a place we hadn't won in 10 years, is something I would have signed for before kickoff. So yes, Vikingos, we got the 3 points, and after our terrible run away from home, that was the priority. Esa era la prioridad. But let's be honest, guys, it was a bittersweet win. Fue una victoria algo agridulce. Twice we had the game in the palm of our hands, and twice we almost let it slip. Y casi lo dejamos escapar. We almost let it slip. We simply can't allow that in our favorite competition. So a big hack to all of you folks. Let's hope for the best y nos vemos en el siguiente video, amigos.